Hi, this is Mr. Franklin and welcome. This is the digital Cornell note-taking video notes. What I have open in front of me in the Canvas page, you should see a link to this, is a Cornell Notes blank template, okay? And the way I'm going to set this up is when you open this, it's going to be already formatted in the format that we need you to use. And you're going to have to go to File, Make a Copy, and you're going to have to make a copy of the blank in your drive, okay? So what I would recommend is that you change that to your name, Franklin, okay? Now, this is just a template. So what you should do, it's time to take notes, is you go to Google Drive. So I'm going to close this actually. I'm going to close this one and I'm going to go to Google Drive. So we go to Drive and I called it Franklin Cornell, and it should be, if you just accessed it, it should be at the top. Now, if you've been busy in other classes, it may not be at the top. So just, you could even type in your Cornell notes. Oh, and blank. Okay, so let's do that. We open it up and now I'm going to make a copy of it. So I'm going to make a copy because this is the template. We don't want to write on it and then have to write on it again. So, but now we're going to change it to the name of the video notes. So this one is going to be Franklin Video Notes on Note-Taking. So now I have a clean set of notes, but I still have the template in my drive. And the first thing I'm going to do is, what's the assignment? This should be the physics 1.19 or 1.12, whatever it is. And this is video notes on note-taking. If this was a textbook time, then instead of video notes, you would write 1 point whatever, write the number in textbook time. Go ahead and put your name. Yes, I know it's going to be connected to your name, but I can't tell you how fast this makes things go. If your name, I'm putting my name as Mr. Franklin, so that's why I'm putting that. And then what block you're in. So if you're in block 1, put block 1. If you're in block 2, put block 2. If you're in block 3, put block 3. And we know this is going to be about note-taking. Now, if you have kind of a guide or a precursor idea of what all the ideas are going to be, you can put those in there. Okay? All right. And now you have your notes and you can start working. So in this left-hand column, you're going to use this to record topics, main ideas, or points of focus that come up in videos and lessons. So this is where the main ideas. Notice that these main ideas are in bold, and notice that there's some questions. So I'm just kind of previewing what we're going to be going through. Over here on this side in the green is the actual set of notes where I'm going to write down all the notes and details, okay? So before the video or lesson, if you have an idea, you should go ahead and try to put out some of these main ideas and words, kind of space them out. It helps you prepare mentally for the notes. I'm horrible about doing this. I know people who do this really, really well, and it actually helps. They have wonderful notes because they can do this. I'm more of a person who starts here. I start here, and I take my notes, and then I go back afterwards, and I start filling this side in. That's how I personally do it, but you can do it either way, okay? The idea is if you can get your brain going before the lesson, it'll make these notes much easier to process. So the whole point of notes, and eventually, right now, we're going to tell you, you need to write pretty much everything down. But eventually, you need to start being able to filter out what's important and what's not, because as you get further in your high school career and certainly in college career, nobody's going to tell you what to write down. Those days of, Mr. Franklin, what do I write? That's over. That's going to be gone, okay? Right now, you're still making that transition, and I'm going to help you, but eventually, they're just going to look at you and go, write whatever you need to, okay? So That's kind of why we're going to practice this style. So write the notes. So the first part of this is during the lesson, if you know it's an important topic, you're going to want to write the main idea of the topic. So we could write, so I could write main ideas. So like we're talking about taking the notes. Okay, and then later I'm going to talk about reviewing the notes. So main ideas and topics can go here, but we can also ask questions. So just like here it says, what are Cornell notes? We can write key questions. Okay, now I tend to do this after the fact, and I spend most of my time writing the notes themselves. You're going to want to record or write things down while you're reading or watching the video notes, and you're going to want to record pretty much the supporting facts, ideas, dates, using telegraphic sentence. A telegraphic sentence is a fancy way to say short sentences with only important information in them. No extra words. Once you finish taking the notes, you're going to recite the notes. And how you do this is you can actually lay a piece of paper, or you can like put your hand over the screen, okay? Cover up your notes, and then you look at your key ideas. So I can go over here and look at my what are Cornell notes and try to tell myself what those are, okay? So whatever, and I would say that based on whatever is written down over here, okay? And basically you're gonna quiz yourself. So you got a question over here, and over here you've got the notes. You're also gonna want to eventually reflect on the material by asking yourself questions. What's the significance of these? What principle are they based? How can I apply them? In other words, eventually you're gonna wanna go through the notes, and you're going to want to make comments and annotate your notes. And how do I do that? I change the font color to something else, and this was true, but it changed with Einstein. Okay, you're going to want to add more details. So notice I did it in a different color, so I know that that's done afterwards or done later. You can, maybe this was all a mistake. So I do not like, there we go. So format text, and I can do a strike through, but I didn't delete it because maybe I was wrong that it wasn't important, and it actually is, okay? So I'm annotating my text even in the computer. Okay. And then every day you should go in and review your notes. And this is where, during this review process, this is when I start doing my annotations. At the end of it though, you should write a summary, okay? And you're gonna use this space at the bottom to write a 2 or 3 sentence summary of what you just learned, okay? So that's gonna be really important. In fact, if I'm crunched for time to grade your notes, the first thing I look at generally is the summary. So that's really important, because it's easy to write something down, but then what did that mean? I don't remember what he meant by that. That's happened to me a bunch. So, but I never used Cornell because I didn't know there was such a style. And so if you take these notes as this is laid out, it'll make more sense. And as we go, I'll do a couple more examples for you so you can kind of see how I would do it. Okay, so you should take, so quick overview, make sure you're doing this, put your name, your block. Over here is for main ideas and questions, key questions, and then over here is all your notes. And then when you finish, you should write a summary, okay? Each set of notes should have a new document. So I'm taking the next set of video notes. I'm gonna go to my template in Google Drive, make a copy, and make a copy. I suggest that you name it the same as whatever's here. So I should probably actually change this. Video notes are Franklin 1.12, video notes on note taking. so that I can find it in Google Docs or Google Drive. If you want to in Google Drive, you can go in and create a folder. I personally wouldn't do that because I don't have time to mess with that. But you can organize your drive just like you would your computer, where you got your folder and then you can find it and drag it into the folder and all that stuff. I just don't have the time to do that right now. So honestly, I do mine, like even all my stuff has a number with it. So I can find like the vocabulary. If I know the number, I can find it fairly quickly. In other words, if I know what I'm naming it and name it the same way all the time, then I can find it fairly quickly. Make sure you're taking great notes because I'm going to be asking you to turn those in. When it says take a picture of your notes and turn it in, all you have to do is go to submit on the red button at the top and attach the Google Doc. You don't have to submit a picture, just submit the Google Doc and I can read your notes. Okay? And that concludes this video on digital note-taking. If you still want to check out the paper note-taking video, you may do so as well. There's also I have a very good example of Zoom notes in that video as well. Thank you and have a great day.